Fall is my favorite time of the year, and I love to create for this season. I would appreciate it if you consider giving me a follow. Don't forget to click that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I release a new video. Thank you for being here and enjoy the video. This is the Decoupage Queen 4-pack. It's the Cottage Pumpkins. Hey Regine, thanks for joining me. And I already pre-painted this. I used the acrylic primer just to save a step so you don't have to watch me paint it and then dry it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these three on the back, but I'm going to put this one in the front. Let me just give you kind of an outline of where I think I'm headed. So I'm going to put him in the middle. I'm going to use the gel paste, and I'm going to stencil a pumpkin over it and make it 3D. That'll be really cool. And then I have a leaf here. So I was thinking I already have these cast, so I was going to make them, but why do that? Hey, Michaela, you must have got a notification. That and maybe a leaf or two, or maybe just throw this whole big leaf on here. So we'll see. You guys can help me. And then, but I am going to put the velvet powder around here, and I think the orange is just too bright. So I'm going to show you how you can mix them to get the color you want. So that'll be on the outside. So that'll be nice and fun. So quick and easy, but all right. So if we're going to use this in the front, maybe we should use this on the back because it kind of correlates. So we're going to do that real quick. And I have already pre-painted the back just to save time. And oh, a brand new one. This is the Decoupage glue. It's an ultra matte. This one's a nice one too, especially if you don't want any shine. I'm gonna get my glasses on so I can see. Oh yeah, I was supposed to say, let's get messy. Who wants to get messy? Because it seems when I craft, I tend to get a little messy, but also I put that in my post today, notifying people that I'm gonna go live and we're gonna get messy, because you know what? The velvet powder can get messy, especially if you're mixing it. Oh yes, the brown is absolutely gorgeous. It looks so good on like reindeer. Okay, so that is ready. I'm gonna put this on here. And of course, you know me, I like to use the cellophane. You know what, I will have that line here, but that's all right. It'll cut into there. I didn't think about that because I know on this side, when I use it, I have less space to cover, but that's all right. Okay. I'm just going to cut this off real quick. Now, I'm going to put this on here. I just love this pumpkin. And I want to make sure that I leave plenty of room for that leaf to show. There we go. Something like that. That way, if I do decide to use this big old hunk of leaves, I can still see my pumpkin. And if I don't, I'll have room for this leaf and then maybe another leaf over here. All right, let's see if I can mimic that. I apologize, I'm a little congested. I feel fine, I'm just congested. But I guess it is that time of year where people start getting colds and stuff. Right. Let me see if I can do this. Yep, pretty good. Actually, I need to move it over just a scotch. And the nice thing about the rice paper is it's such good quality that you can pick it up without worrying about tearing it like a napkin. Napkins, forget about it. That is really hard to pick up. I need to make sure I remember that I have this. I'm going to cover that little area. There we go. All right. Let's see, did I do okay? Yeah, that's okay. I'm not okay. I'm okay with that little line sticking there. There we go. Now, I'm just going to cut around. And then what I'll do is I'll sand to make sure I get it perfect. But this will just get the big parts off. Stick this to the side. No, always sand down, especially when your glue is still wet. Typically you want to wait till the glue's dry, but we don't have that kind of time when you're doing a live. Again, this is the back side. I'm going to seal the back side after we're done with the whole thing. We don't have time to let that dry before I can flip it over and work it on the other side. So that's going to be the back side. Okay, now let's do the front. Again, we're just taking it, pulling it down. You want to be really careful because you do not want to tear your paper. Oops. Get messy. There's some edges here. Just going to pull these off. Hey, Michaela, what are you using the brown paper, the brown velvet powder on? What are you creating? Okay. Oops. All right. So here is the front. So it'll look like this. Look how cute. Okay. I do need to seal the front though. I want to seal this real quick. I'm just going to put a really light coat on. Because what we're going to do to it, it needs to be sealed before we decorate on top of it. So just a nice light coat. And you'll notice that there aren't any wrinkles in the paper. Normally I spritz it real quick with some water on the back, but I didn't even need to do it. It's a small area, and it just came out perfect. All right, I already lost the cap. All right, so we'll just set that to the side. I'll find that later. Hey, Luann. Oh, yeah, I didn't do it on YouTube today. You know what I did? Is I have a camera recording it this way, horizontally, so I can upload it later, and it'll fit the whole TV screen. I'm just trying all kinds of new stuff. I don't know what I'm doing, to be quite honest. All right, so what I want to do is I want to mimic, I like this color. I like this, this one's called Red Clay. It's by Pentart. So that's a little bit too bright, and that doesn't match. And then I have some brown here. What I want to do is I'm going to paint this section here, because whenever you're using the velvet powder, you want to make sure that the underneath color will match what powder you're putting on, because it'll make a difference if you missed a little section or if the powder is too thin, it doesn't go on thick enough. You'll see the underneath, and we don't want to see the white. We want to see the orange. So this is the color I'm going for because it does match this. I'm doing an order with that. Ooh, that'll be nice. I want to see a picture of that. All right, so I'm going to paint a layer of this. This is a nice fall color. It's not too bright. It's not too dark. It just is perfect. Again, It's called Red Clay. It's by Pentart. And it's only going to take one coat since I already have the acrylic primer on. And the acrylic paints with Pentart, they cover pretty good. All right. So once this dries, we're going to put the Decor Tacky Glue on. And I know you guys have seen me use the Decor Tacky Glue, but just for a quick refresher on what the Decor Tacky Glue is, it goes on white and it dries tacky or sticky. It'll dry clear, but whatever touches it will stick to it. So it's good for the velvet powders, it's good for the flakes or the foils. So we're going to put a coating on here of that. And then we're going to mix up our velvet powders. We're going to get it close to this color as we can. And I think we'll be able to do it with the beige, the brown, and the orange. Let me just give this a quick once over, make sure it's dry. So that's pretty much what it's looking like so far. I think that'll be a nice color. And then that way, if we do decide to put these on, that'll look nice. All right. So the next layer is the Decor Tacky. We'll use this one. Now you want to be careful when you're putting this on because wherever you put it, stuff is going to stick to it, including your fingers. And if you put it on, give it a nice even thin coat, it dries fairly quickly. It's just when you have like extra puddles like that, that's when it takes longer for it to dry. So after I put on a coat, I'm going to go back and make sure that I smooth all those out. And then I'll have to use a baby wipe to make sure that I get it off of my fingers, because what happens is I get it on my fingers and then whatever I'm working with will stick to my fingers. All right. The lid on that. Whoops. Whoopsies. All right, let's play. So let's get the little cup here. So obviously first we're going to start with the orange. And if you get these little ones, because they come in two different sizes, the big and the small. But if you get this size, it's easier if you just pop it off, pop the top off. You can pour some in. And see the orange, that is so bright. It's a little bit brighter than what I want to use, so I'm just going to put some of that in here. Then I'm going to add some beige. I'm going to tone the orange down a bit. This one didn't have the top because I already pulled it off and I've already lost it. All right. So I'm just going to take my little stick here. And I can already see that it's toned it down just a little bit, but not enough. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to put a smidge of the brown in. Let's see what that does. Oops. Oop. Ooh, there we go. Now we're getting close. So see the difference? It's not quite as bright. Let me oh, see, my fingers are sticky. Let me just show you. See the difference? See, it's not so bright. So you can definitely mix your velvet powders to get the color you're looking for. All right. Now I hope I made enough to cover this. I don't think I did, so I'm going to go ahead and just mix up a little bit more because I'd rather have too much now than need more in a minute. Because what I can also do is I can put this in a separate container and I can save it for the next time I need this like burnt orange color. Okay, and then just a smidge of the brown. There we go. Now I'm going to mix it all up. And just take a minute, make sure you got it all mixed up. And it doesn't have to be perfectly mixed. No, it's okay if it could be a little, oopsies, a little imbalanced, it's fine. But see how pretty that is? Now that's the color we were looking for. Let me check. There's just a little daub up there, so I'll just be careful. We're going to go ahead and put this on. I'll just be careful when I'm doing that. Oops. Oh gosh. I'm knocking over all the velvet powder and it's flying everywhere. All right, let me get a brush. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour this on here. Or pinch it out and just kind of run it. And it did become a little clumpy when I mixed it, which is typical, it's normal. I'm just running it around the outside, spreading it. All right, now before I use my brush on here, I'm going to use my finger because I'm just going to kind of push it around and get it into the glue before I stick my bristles in there. I don't want my bristles to be sticky. It's okay if my finger's sticky because I can just wash that off real quick with a little wipey. And I can also feel with my fingers if it's sticky. I just need to add a little bit more there. Now, what do you think of the color? Didn't that come out fantastic? So much better than that bright orange. Okay, so I'm going to push it on. Make sure it's going into that tacky glue. I'll do that with my brush. There we go. Shake it off. And look, isn't that pretty? All right, so now what we can do with this extra here, I like to use these little papers. I think they're like for cooking. And then I can just slide it right back in. And then I can save this color, or if I need to do any touch-ups or any other thing with this. All right. So let's see how it's looking so far. Look at that. That is the color we were going for. Let me get another one of these out here to get the glare off my board. There we go. What do you think? All right. So now we're going to do the pumpkin. I love the gel paste. If you haven't seen it yet, it's beautiful. What it's going to do is it's going to give a nice shiny effect to the pumpkin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just run it through a stencil. I'm going to see which one of these kind of mimics the pumpkin the best. I did it earlier and I thought it was, wait, I had it this way. I think it's this one. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be pretty close. No, I can do either side. I'm thinking it's this one here. Doesn't really do the stem. This one does the stem better. Yeah, we'll go with this one. Okay. This is tintable, but I want it to be clear. See this? It's a nice paste. When it dries, it'll dry clear, but it'll be raised like a 3D. So, oops. And you could sprinkle glitter in there too if you want, but I just want it to be just, it looks like glass to me. Hopefully I'm not getting it underneath the edge of the pumpkin. All right, let's lift this off. Ooh, pretty. Keep in mind when you have pastes, you always want to wipe it down first. You don't want to put this stuff through your drain in your sink. After a while, you get lots of buildup, and you don't want that. You clog your sink. Okay, so now we need to decide, do we want to just simply add the leaf on the, the leaf on the bottom? Where's the other leaf? Or do we want to go ahead and just do like a whole leaf like this? And I do have some ribbon we can use. That we'll decide later. Let me just put some of these caps on. And I also have, a little bit of moss, or I have the moss paste but looks, that'd be pretty too. Some moss on there. I can also, let's see if I can, I had the little leaf. Let me see. Oh, here it is. He's over here. I can put some leaves up top. Pumpkin leaves. It's always nice to have options. Now, typically you don't see a, fall ornament, but this would be cute to put in, hang in your wreath. Your fall wreath that you hang in your door. All kinds of cute things you can add this to. All right, well, I think I've lost everybody, so I'm just going to go ahead and make my decision. I think I kind of like maybe cut some of the stem off. I think that stem's too long. I don't know. Kind of digging this. I kind of dig that. And then put. What do we think? That. I don't know. Kind of takes over it. And I do have, I'm going to use the honey gold around the outside to hide that mess. But the honey gold is a beautiful color that is totally fall. Like I could have, used pouring glaze, but everybody does that, and that's too easy. So maybe we should just make it a bunch of fall colors. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let's see, we have some of this. What other fall colors do we have? We're going to need a little bit of red too, right? Maybe some brown. I'm thinking some of my colors are on the other table. That's okay, we'll make our own colors. So I know that's very close to it, but I'm going to do the whole thing in this color, and then I'm going to blend in the other colors. Because leaves are not only one color, especially in the fall. They're typically several colors, so we'll just kind of blend. And then if we don't like it, we don't have to use it. This one is from the IOD. This one is the Autumn Cottage mold. But then the original Hello Pumpkin mold has some leaves too. Whenever I get a new mold, I always cast a bunch of castings, so that way I have some on hand when I need them. And what I did was I just dug in my little box and I found these, which I do like. All right, next I'm going to blend in some orange and then some greens and maybe a little yellow. Could have left them white and had a monochrome, which I can still add some more white to it. And then I can use some liquid patina if I want to brown them a little bit. I'm so excited for fall, for it to cool off. It's been cool in the mornings here, in the evening, so that's nice. All right, so I'm gonna put it here. Let's get that up there. I'm gonna use the same brush. Since we're gonna be mixing anyway, let's use a little bit of red. Sometimes it's just the middle of the leaves. Sometimes it's the whole leaf. I really, really, really like the bright red leaves, or the yellow leaves are gorgeous too. I don't know what tree it is that has those bright yellow leaves. We do have some yellow leaves here, but they're not the bright ones like they have in Wisconsin. They're just so beautiful. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm gonna add a little bit of green. I just need to add a little bit of brown. I might just add I can just add the antique paste down into the crevices, which would be perfect. There we go. This one's a little green, so we're gonna let's add a little bit of yellow, why not? All right, just a scotch. Can't really see it, but it's there. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to dry that real quick, and then I'm going to take the brown antique paste and put it down in the middle. Let's see. Actually, I say brown is umber, and I know that. I think adding the antique paste will kind of rein in the colors a little bit and tie it into our monochrome or more subtle colors on here. Ouch. All right. Okay. I'm gonna use a brush for this because I want to make sure I get down into those crevices. Let's use this one. Oh, I don't know. Looks like it's okay on my side. I don't know. Who knows? Facebook can be funny sometimes. Now, if I would have used a clear coat before I did this, it would have been a lot easier to wipe back and some of the brighter colors would still shine through, but I wanted to tone back some of these bright colors, so that's why I didn't seal it first. Okay. Ooh, look at that. That is exactly what I'm going for. I want it to look just like the fall. Whoa. Look at that. Oh, I love it. So this is going to dry clear. It's going to look like glass. So it's going to make the pumpkin look kind of 3D. And then we have this. And then I was just going to tie in some of this grayish green ribbon. And I don't think we even need the moss. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for a second. I'm going to glue this on. And then we're going to take care of the edge. I'm just using the... Well, get a different one. That one's probably left the cap off. So make sure you don't leave your cap off when you're using express glue because you don't want to clog that. But if you just stick a pin in it, it's fine. Down for a second. So you can see that 3D paste, that's gonna dry. That's gonna be beautiful. So let's use some of this honey gold. This one I think is gonna look better than just the gold. So we're gonna just run it along the sides. It's so pretty. Being careful, I'm trying to make sure that I don't touch that pumpkin and ruin the 3D effect I have going here. We have the edges done, a little bit of a mess. Okay. Now I wonder if I should just lightly dust this. I think it might add a little bit of a dimension to it. Since we're going to stick it here, I think we should do it. All right. Oops. Just got it under my fingernail. Don't want that. Just a little bit on the finger. I'm going to start really light. This is just going to bring out the details. So you can see here on this side where I used it, and this side where I didn't use it. So I am totally loving it. Antique paste is down in the valleys, and the wax paste is up on the peaks. Whoa. I love that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What do you think? So this big stem of leaves is going to cover that big leaf down there. Okay. Now, when I put this on, I'm going to definitely want to have something heavy duty glue. I don't want to use express glue. I don't think that's going to, it'll glue on, but I want to make sure if somebody bumps into it, it's not going to fall off. So, got to call in the heavy hitter, which is my fave, the heavy body gel. Great. And I normally just apply it with spatula. Oops, it came through the little hole. Now the question is that enough leaves? Or do you think we maybe, oops, maybe need one up top here, just to kind of maybe balance it? Or should we just go ahead and stick our little ribbon in? So I decided to just use the green ribbon. I think it adds plenty to this.